Wspieraj kanał magazynu Układ Sił na Patronite. Link do wsparcia znajdziesz w opisie filmu.
Hello everyone, I'm Maksymilian Skrzypczak from Układ Sił, Balance of Power, Polish geopolitical think tank. And today I'm pleased to be joined by Yigal Carmon, the president and founder of MEMRI, Middle Eastern Research Institute. Hello.
Hi.
Mr. Carmon is also a former advisor to Israeli governments and was two times actually the guest of our interviews, and we always welcome his analysis and his insight into the Israeli perspective. And today we're talking, of course, about the unfolding events in the Middle East, namely the war between Israel and the United States on the one hand and Iran on the other. And Mr. Carmon, first, let me just ask you very briefly, why do you fight? Because in Poland, many people ask questions about the intentions of the United States, their goals, their objectives, but not that many people know why exactly Israel is fighting this war against Iran. So could you just tell what the stake is for Israel?
Yeah, so one has to understand the ideology of Iran and its activities over the years. Iran, the regime of the Ayatollahs, which is a tiny sect within the world of Shia, which is itself just 10% of the world of Islam, which is 90% Sunni. This sect has put as a goal to eliminate Israel. Very simple. This is the goal. Those who want to just ignore that problem can do it. We cannot ignore it. They do it, they plan it in several ways. Nuclear, missile, chemical, and proxies. Now, I want to say, people ask me, and they ask it everywhere, what is the day after? What's the plan for the day after? And I say, it's good that we will have a day after. That's good enough for us. Then we can deal about. But there is a strange tendency with many to ignore the Iranian threat. And they do it easy because it's not to them. So what's the problem? Well, we fight for our lives. And the people who want to ignore it can ignore it. But when you see now what they have prepared for us, my God, this is really, forget the nuclear. The missile power is huge. And they targeted also America, but I'm not talking on behalf of America. I barely talk on behalf of our government. I'm not representing our own government. But I do represent Israel as a citizen. And I see, and we published all the documentation about the Iranian threat to Israel's existence. And this is why we fight. All these things, nuclear, missiles, they are just means to achieve a goal. And what is the goal? The goal is to eliminate Israel. They say it plainly, they talk about it, and now with the new supreme leader, Mujtaba, things have worsened. This new leader is far more extreme than his father, and he sees himself. They call him, he's connected to the Revolutionary Guards, and they call him the Khorasani. What is this Khorasani? Khorasan is a region in east of Iran. According to the apocalyptic Shiite ideology, religious ideology, the person who will bring the Mahdi, who will bring the Messiah to establish justice under Islam all over the world, including in Poland, this Khorasani will precede the coming of the Mahdi. He will bring him, he will be a military leader, and he has to be, according to the apocalyptic theories of the Shiites. He will come from Khorasan, that is Iran, east of Iran, and he will fight, first of all, to correct the historic injustice of the Sunnis taking over the government from the legitimate owner of it, the Shiites, the descendants of Ali, in 680. This is a historic injustice that they are going to correct now, and then they follow up with all the means that they will have, military means, to take over the world of Sunnah, number one. Correct the historical injustice. And then, of course, the Mahdi comes, and the Mahdi does everything that is needed. The Khorasani, and Mujtaba attribute that to himself. He is the Khorasani. The Revolutionary Guards call him the Khorasani to give him a religious, apocalyptic status. He will fight the battle. He will pass the flags to the Mahdi, and everything will follow, and we'll live in a world of justice and peace and everything under Islam. So we should be happy. Now, this is the new leader. So we have no choice but to fight to have a day after. And then we will see what, I want to say, this is like the world of Nazism, with an ideology, and without eliminating Nazism, there wouldn't be a new world. The Americans, if they don't go all the way to the bunker, it will continue, because they have an ideology that they live by. 2 generations by now are educated on that ideology. It's not a group of people like with Nazi Germany. It was 20 years of preparations, 15 years of preparations. This is what we have now. But 2 generations, it's not an easy task. So I don't see ourselves finishing the job. I don't see the world finishing the job before they are finished, just like the Nazis. There will be no... Now, to talk with them is imagine that the world, Churchill, Roosevelt, whoever, would decide to talk to the Nazis instead of going all the way to the bunker. What world would we have now? I believe that Trump, and only Trump, understands that in his feeling, in his character. The Europeans are collaborators like they have been in the past. Pétain, what was this regime in France? Collaborators with the Nazis. It's known. In Britain, there were circles, there were people who wanted to collaborate. In many places, they wanted to collaborate. This is Europe. The same thing today. But it will not work because the Iranians are so extreme that they don't leave place for the collaborators to deal with them. They are so extreme that they don't allow all these collaborators to work with them. And they don't give Trump any opening for talking. They tell him, we'll kill you. That's really, had it not been so tragic, it would be funny. This is how you want to get out of the war? Killing him? So even if he had thoughts of somehow talking instead of going all the way to the bunker, they don't allow him. That's how extreme they are. And Israel is one target. America is the chief target. and we are the secondary.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but here I have to ask the question because Nazi Germany was overthrown by a massive war of attrition and then a ground invasion from at least two fronts. Now, we are not really close to any sort of decision by the US of ground invasion of Iran. So how do you see the, how you put it, right to the bunker without boots on the ground?
Yeah, I don't see invasion on the ground, but also things have changed since World War II, and no one should go for ground invasion. Today, you can and should finish off the fighting power of the other side. Today, there are air forces, there are missiles, there are many ways in which, without going into a ground invasion, you can finish off the power of the IRGC, of the Revolutionary Guard. It won't be as basic as it was in World War II, but on the other hand, I wrote a piece lately. I said Iran needs an Adenauer, collaborator with America for another type of Germany. I also said, and forgive me for any comparison, Iran needs a Lech Walesa, someone who goes against the ideology of the repressors. Throw them out and have your own country, free and democratic. And talking to you, I would say not Adenauer, but Lech Walesa, to change the whole mindset. A country that wants peace and prosperity, that is democratic, that is open to, everybody has faults. I don't know, you may have whatever is your position to your own, but they were elected. So what can you do? This is elections, and this is the principle, even if you don't like it. But you like the system, and you fight for it. And this is what everybody should do. And yes, I would say Iran needs a Lech Walesa to turn it into a country, a democratic country that seeks prosperity, that seeks, and off with the Revolutionary Guard, with the apocalyptic visions, with fighting everybody, not only Israel and America, but also all the Sunni world, correcting the historic injustice of 680, the Karbala battle with the Yazid ibn Muawiyah. I mean, you go to your history. No, you go to your present time to secure to your country prosperity and life and all that. So, yeah, it can be a long battle without invasion that will seek to destroy the Revolutionary Guard and the Basij totally, by bombing.
All right, but bombing alone would need to be very extensive and also very long when it comes to the time period in order to succeed in this manner. Now, can Israel keep the US alongside it in such a campaign? Because Donald Trump is already facing massive pressure internally, perhaps even from people from his administration, from Arab countries, who just maybe they even are in favor of using force against Iran, but they by no means want a protracted war in the Middle East. So, given that constraint, how can Israel achieve this objective of extensive bombing?
To achieve survival, that's all. As I said, to have a day after, to achieve survival. And it's not easy. Let me put it this way. There were different times of the life of the Jewish people. And there was a time in World War II where it was defenseless. And it ended up the way it ended up, in a tragic way. Also for the Polish people. Horrible, horrible situation under the Nazis. Do we have another chance? Would you, your parents, ask themselves, can we achieve? Can we not? What's the alternative? We have to fight. Your parents had to fight. Your grandparents had to fight. You don't ask what is the alternative. Can you achieve it? You may achieve it in a longer period, in a shorter period. You have to fight. There is a group of psychos that relive the 7th century, that want to change the world in their perspective, that see America, well, America has its own fault, Poland has its own fault, Israel has its own fault. They want to fix us all, you know? Thank you. We don't want you in this world. Stop bugging us. And we have no other choice. That you don't act for survival on the basis of the question, can we achieve it? You just fight. You just
Yeah, I understand. When it comes to the general mission, I completely agree. However, if in the present moment you decide that you are not able to achieve everything, let's say in this month, perhaps a reasonable strategist would give himself, for the present moment, a more limited goal, and then in the future try to achieve more. So, do you think that Israel can afford to aim for something more limited at the present moment, but more realistic at the same time?
This is a question of political expediency, of military expediency. Maybe yes, maybe no. One has to have far more information that I have, maybe that you have, how to act in a way that will bring you to achieve your goals. Maybe you need, I don't know enough about that, but I want to say there is an element here that they do not allow you to be tactical. What you're talking about is be prudent in tactics. Do now what you can do. This, yeah, if you were in charge, and this thought that you raise of tactical prudence, I would trust you to have your voice there. But they don't let you. They don't let us. They go for the strategic goal, and they don't let anyone play tactics. This is their crazy, I would guess, fanaticism, the crazy fanaticism. I would guess that Trump would want to play tactics, maybe. But they don't allow you to play tactics with them. They don't allow anything. They will tell him, we will kill you. How is it going to do tactics with such people that tell him, we'll kill you, you pig, something. How do you play tactics? They keep shooting missiles. They keep this idea of being prudent tactically is a solid one as a military thought. I guess you read, you know, but they don't let you. This is an enemy of a kind. Did Hitler allow the Americans to play tactics? They didn't. He went all the way. No, nothing to stop him. What do you do?
So in this war, it's important that Israelis show and explain to the entire world their intention, why are they doing it, etc. And my question is, do you think that the Israeli government is doing it the right way right now?
It's fighting. That is what it has to do. I have a lot of criticism on the government of Israel. I wrote it in a piece I would hope that you would see. I sent it around. Please talk to Paul, you will find this piece. I am full of criticism to the government of Israel about its alliance with Qatar, which is the major ally of Iran in total double, triple speak, horrible. And Trump by now understands who are his allies. Pakistan is with Iran. Oman sends blessing to Mujtaba. Everybody, it's crazy. He defends them. And how they behave, they send blessing to Iran. This is collaboration of the lowest level. So I would say that the main thing is keep fighting. I wrote in this piece that Trump is Churchill of our time. And some people who are critical of Trump told me, what are you talking about? You compare him to Churchill? So I told them, gentlemen, let me remind you who was Churchill. Churchill was a guy that was a drinker. He was bizarre. He was strange. He was known to be a problematic thing. Yes, they say, but he was educated. Yes, this is a big difference. He was educated. We saw it in his books about war. But it is not the education that kept him on the fight, insisting on defeating Hitler, not the education. It was his character. And the same with Trump. He is not educated. He has a character to defeat the enemy. And education sometimes doesn't help much. Too much education. I'm for education. I'm heading a research institute. But what makes the difference is the character. To defeat the enemy despite all pressures. I can imagine what pressures are on Trump now. And I really appreciate his standing. I hope he will keep online. If not, it will be because all those for whom he fights are betraying him and are going with the enemy. This is Europe of World War II. I admire Churchill, Roosevelt, Stalin. I have problems in admiring, but so do you, I guess. But anyway, the insistence of fighting an insane enemy is the main thing. And without that insistence, nothing. At the end of the day, you have to lead a battle. So Bibi, with all my criticism of him, and it's huge criticism, I wouldn't say admire, I recognize his standing. I recognize it.
Yeah, but the thing is that the battle is not only on the battlefield, it's also, in the infosphere, because what the Americans think, it's not just, what they think, is their opinion. You don't have to care about this. But if an American voter is against the war, is against Israel, then it can hurt your ability to fight, right? And let me tell you with an example. I think Israelis are amazing at waging war, but are terrible at talking about war. And for example, during the first day of war, the IDF posted on Twitter, without a context, Israel has the right to defend itself. Now, I know what they mean, but an average person thinks it's crazy. Why? You attacked first and you say you have the right to defense. I know what they talk about, but most people don't. So maybe Israel should also improve in this direction, so it's more able to encourage or convince Americans to their standing.
Don't get me started about the government of Israel as far as explaining the position and explaining what is it about. I guess one can hardly be worse than our government in that. They were elected. Your government was elected. We don't change that. You say, but it will harm your ability to fight. People act accordingly, so things may improve, but there are different polls that show that people support Trump, and there is something very common everywhere. The winner, at the end of the day, the winner gets the support of the majority. And he surely knows that if he wins the battle, if he destroys them, everything will change, not against him, but for him. These are stages in the battle. When the battle is tough, people have thoughts and all kinds of things. Let it continue another few weeks. We'll see how the Iranians, how the IRGC stands. I believe that America will win this battle, despite the fact that the Europeans are collaborators of Iran, despite the fact that no one really supports him, except, strangely, imagine, Carney of Canada, who is against Trump in many ways, but he is with him in the battle. Australia, it reminds me again of World War II. Who fought this battle at the end of the day? The Anglo-Saxon, Britain, Canada, Australia, and the main were, and the United States. These were the four allies that defeated Hitler. All the rest were collaborators. Now, he doesn't have even, he has Carney, who is very much in clash with him, but he knows that his alliance is with America, with all the battles that have between them on political and Australia is with America. The only one who is not with America is Starmer, who is finished. There is no England anymore. It's gone. The empire is gone forever. No way back. Look at him. I've seen him in the middle of the battle, a whole hour of reporting about Epstein. You are Prime Minister of the Empire? And this, and that, and this report, and my God, this is a low-level journalist. This is a Prime Minister of the British Empire. There is no Britain anymore. There is America, Canada, and Australia. The French, Macron does a press conference on a battleship, on the Charles de Gaulle carrier, and the Marseillaise, and he pretends, I don't know, to be what, de Gaulle, and then he goes to lick the ass, of the allies of Iran. This is Europe. So, to fix the whole world is too big a task for everybody, even for Trump. But he stands, and Netanyahu stands, and Carney, of all leaders, who is on the left, but he knows the basics, and he's on America's side, and Australia also on the left, but they know who is there, who are the providers and those who secure the Western ideology and values. Despite the inner discrepancies, the inner battles, the economic battles, the hard side of Trump. I didn't expect to see Carney going with America after the battles between him and the guy understands the world. He knows what is it about. And Australia also not ruled by right-wing people, but they know who will stand for them when they need help. Only America and Canada. I don't want to enter into the position of Poland. Out of our discussion, I don't know enough, but it doesn't stand on the side of America, unfortunately.
All right. So just let me ask you one last question. Yesterday, Hezbollah, in coordination with Iran, 2 times in the evening. One time it was maybe shortly after work hours, and then it was during the night, fired a rocket barrage, and it was probably the heaviest day, at least when it comes to rockets coming from Lebanon. And especially it's surprising to many, first, that Hezbollah, despite the amazing pager operation, the war 1.5 years ago, still has capabilities to strike. And secondly, despite their leadership being in disarray recently, now they still have communication lines with Tehran. So do you think that them joining the war is a threat to Israel, or do you think that Israel can handle it without a problem?
It's an absolute threat. And it only shows us again what they had prepared for us. And look at these proxies in Lebanon, Hezbollah, and on the Red Sea, the Houthis, with huge, they prepared a military power from another world. Iran worked 2 generations to become a military power that can defeat the world. And that's what's in their mind. But when you see Israel is a thorn in their throat, but they prepared for huge confrontation with the West. Look what happens in America. People, while the war is happening, identify with Iran. And we are publishing those videos of preachers in mosques standing with Iran while their country is in battle with Iran. They prepared, someone said, we published that for Khamenei, promoting Islam in America was a major goal. People, I really wanted to ask you, how are things in Poland in terms of Iranian presence in mosque and things? I guess there isn't much. Maybe they didn't think that they need that. God knows. First comes the great Satan, America, and then Israel. Until they get to Poland, it's a far, far issue. But they went everywhere. In Europe, in America, in Latin America, huge presence. So we have the problem of the proxies. For us, the Red Sea is a closed place, and it has to be reopened, and the Houthis have to be finished off, because they go with Iran fully. This country has created branches that control world economy. The Hormuz Straits, the Red Sea. It's unthinkable how much military power they developed in the last almost 50 years. So the world, this is Nazism all along since 33 to 39 and on. It has to be finished. That's all. That's the only thing to be done. To be finished, to have a non-sectarian, non-fanatic regime, westernized, seeking prosperity and life. Without that, we will not. So we will fight. Yes, we have the problem of Hezbollah. We have the problem of the Houthis. We fight. This is the difference with World War II. In World War II, we had nothing. We couldn't fight. We were at the hands of the Nazis, and they did what they did. No more. That's gone.
And we'll finish with that. Thank you very much. Mr. Yigal Carmon was our guest today. He's the president and founder of MEMRI, which is Middle East Media Research Institute. Goodbye.
Thank you.